Hello, friends, and welcome to Yoga and Meditation. My name is Jane Stimson. I'm a librarian with LSC Sci-Fair Library, and we are bringing you yoga from my living room. So, a couple of announcements to start class tonight. This is going to be our last live class on YouTube. So we will continue with our yoga program in the fall. I will continue to film video yoga classes, yoga and meditation classes like we're used to. So, and I will continue to post them every other Thursday at 5:30. So starting again in 2 weeks. So there really won't be any change for you, except that it'll be pre-recorded and not live. So maybe a little bit better editing on my part. For class tonight, we are going to be focusing on sort of deliberate movements linked with breath, help calm our nervous system. And we're going to be focusing on some hip opener poses. So hopefully if you've been seated a lot this week or today, that'll feel good for you. And we're going to end class with a positive affirmation meditation. So to go ahead and get started, we're actually going to start reclined on our back. So go ahead and come all the way down to your back. I'm going to face away from you for a second for this next thing that we're going to do. So come on down to your back. And when you get there, bring the soles of your feet together with your knees open to the side. We're in a reclined bound angle. Now, if that doesn't feel great, if that's too much on your hips right away, you have a couple of options. You can move your heels away from your groin. See if that gives you some more ease. You can also move the soles of your feet apart. They don't have to be touching. Now, if none of that feels good, what I want you to do instead is bring the soles of your feet to your mat, and leave that mat width apart, and just drop the knees in until they touch. Okay, so those are our options, either knees in and touching, or if it's okay on our hips, feet together, hands resting on our thighs to give us a little bit more, just that little bit of weight. So just use this first moment or so in our first reclined pose just to start to transition into this time and into this space of our practice this evening. Try and take a moment to consciously turn off any thoughts that might be running through your head about things that happened today, things that still have to happen after this. And if you can, for this next hour, give yourself the gift of focusing on your body and your breath and not worrying about all that other stuff. Great thing that you're doing for yourself by practicing with me this evening. It's going to be even greater. We'll get even more out of it if we're mindful with it. Just starting to feel a little bit of hip opening here. And then go ahead, if you have your knees out in bound angle, bring your hands to the outside of your thighs and just use your thighs to push your knees back in together. And then go ahead and bring your feet mat width apart if they weren't already there. And everyone go. It also feels pretty nice to start shaking out the hips gently. And the next time your knees come back center, stay there. And then go ahead and hug both knees into your chest. And stretch in that low back, that feels nice. And then go ahead and extend your feet and your legs until the soles of your feet are pointing up towards the ceiling. Now, your legs probably aren't going to be super straight. I definitely have a nice healthy bend in my knees for this. So if your knees are a little bent right now, totally fine, right? We're starting to stretch and start to point and flex the feet. And then circle the ankles in one direction and in the other direction. And then just let them be somewhere in the middle between flexing and pointing, just kind of trying to keep the legs as relaxed as possible. I know it seems like, oh, how could they be relaxed here? But just take to the side until they're in sort of a straddled V position. And if you want to take your hands to the outside or the calves here to give yourself a little bit of support, go for it. And then with control, go ahead and bring those legs back to center. And then bend the knees, hug them into your chest. And once more, maybe take a little bit of a rock from side to side. And then make your rock so big that you rock all the way over onto one side. And then use your hands to push yourself up and come back into a seated position. So sometimes to get into class, I like to kind of start slow and start recline before we get into the other stuff. So we're going to take a little bit of some seated poses for a while. So this next thing that we're going to do is something that I learned from a yoga teacher named Tiffany Cruikshank in one of her classes. And it's a really lovely way, if you're doing any sort of breathing exercises, to really open up